Who are you?
I'm Dan from Cut Copy, the band from Australia.
And Dan, who else is in Cut Copy? Please introduce them.
Well, this is my friend Tim, who plays guitar.
Hi.
This is Mitchell, he plays drums.
Indeed.
This is Ben, he plays synth and bass.
Synth and bass.
Cut Copy, welcome to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Thank you for having us.
Now, I saw you guys yesterday at CITR Radio. You were doing a DJ set.
Yes, well, I guess Dan started out as a college radio DJ, so it was like returning to his roots.
So you were playing CDs.
Well, yeah, I was.
So I was so excited. You were on Tyler's show, one of the hottest shows in Vancouver, Radio Zero.
I was amazed. It was incredible.
He does an amazing show, so I thought that you might have brought out some vinyl to play.
I actually bought a piece of vinyl out and put it on the turntable, but then I kind of got scared and I didn't play it. So
I think you had mentioned to me, because I saw you there, something about it's hard to travel with vinyl.
Yeah, I guess because we have so much gear already, and when we first started touring, as Dan and I DJ, we would carry around like boxes of vinyl, but they would just get destroyed just carrying them around from country to country. So and most places now the turntables are like broken because people put their CD wallets on top of them and stuff like that. So you get there and you know put all this effort into taking vinyl and the record players don't even work.
Well, I thought you're on tour and you guys are doing a lot of DJ sets, aren't you?
Yeah, we are.
You're going to the clubs.
We do. Yeah, we do a lot of our own parties too. Sometimes after a show, have our own after parties, and these guys will get up and DJ.
So there's a lot of responsibility on Cut Copy, isn't there?
yeah, there's just not enough hours in the day.
However, I think it's important you do have vinyl. So I have a gift for you, Cut Copy. Right off here, the Malcolm McLaren Duck Rock Special Banded DJ radio play.
Wow, that's incredible. I've actually got this record, but not the special banded DJ for radio play version, so that's actually quite exciting.
So Dan, how does this record play into the new record? Is there some connection to the new record?
Yeah, I guess our new record was sort of inspired by a lot of stuff from this era, particularly, I guess, music in the 80s that was inspired by African music and sort of, stuff like Talking Heads and a lot of, Trevor Horn stuff, Malcolm McLaren, obviously a good example of that. Grace Jones, probably like a whole host of things there. But I guess our music probably similarly is inspired by sort of like, African percussion and rhythm and that kind of thing. And that was probably something that we explored on this record more than we have in the past.
That's why I thought it'd be important to get it to you for the DJ set, because look, suggested tracks, suggested cuts you can cross off.
That's true. We can tick these off as we go.
Tell me about Grandmaster Melly Mel.
I think he was friends with the Furious Five, and yeah, I guess he was around back in the day in the right era, similar era to this, in fact.
In fact, he sampled something, didn't he?
I'd say probably sampled a few things, yes.
The song White Lions, and I have another gift for you, Cat Copy, sampled the band Liquid.
Yes, there you go.
Cavern.
Yeah, what's this tune all about? Cavern, and on the B-side, we've got some ESG as well happening there with the U.F.O, a double side.
Oh, the U.F.O.
That's awesome.
That's been heavily sampled as well.
It has.
Yeah, I think the Liars did it, and who else? There was like another hip-hop track.
Hip-hop people have sampled it, yeah.
But how about the Cavern, the Liquid? When did you get into them, and how'd you get into them?
I guess I think their record got re-released by Mowax like maybe 10 years ago. It was sort of probably about the same era when I was doing my radio show, and I remember kind of just going, what's this weird thing? I thought it was new, and then just because it had been re-released sort of recently at the time, and then I did all this research and discovered that it was actually from the early 80s, and it's this crazy sort of street band basically, and so that's sort of when I got into it.
I have a quote for you, Cut Copy. Here it is, quote, "I'm missing some of my organs. You'll be relieved to hear that the Hammond isn't one of them."
Well, that's happy news.
And who could that possibly be?
I don't know. Dan?
Tony Carey?
Yeah, Tony Carey. Yeah.
There's some Tony Carey for you guys.
This is wild. I think I've got a bit of catching up to do on Tony Carey.
I think we all do. This is great, man.
Cut Copy, the Yarra River. There's the Yarra River, right?
Yarra is sort of the pronunciation, but yes.
Now, what's the deal about being on one side of the river or being on the other side of the river?
I guess there's a degree of cultural as well as physical separation. The north side is, I guess, what you'd call the cool side, whereas the other side, the south side, is maybe full of is rumoured to be full of yuppies and not a lot of culture. So yeah, if you live on one, then you're said to be cool. If you live on the other, then you've got it all wrong, and you need to make a change in your life.
And Dan actually did that. He was a Southside resident for like many years, and about 2 years ago, he finally came to the dark side of the North Side.
This is what I was wondering: is where do you fit in? So you fit in on the right side, not the north or the south, but the right side.
I do now. I finally, crossed sides, having sort of been languishing in the, supposed yuppie area that Mitchell was talking about for 7 or 8 years.
In Melbourne, there's King Street, isn't there?
There is a King Street, yes.
Is it safe now?
No, probably not.
No, definitely not. It's probably an area that you want to stay away from after like 10 p.m. through to 9 a.m.
I heard that they made it safer, though.
No, I don't think they have. They might have made it safer than something. I think they've closed down a couple of strip clubs, and it's just full of dudes spilling out of strip clubs and getting in fights and maybe stabbing each other with broken bottles. Well, that's the way it seems to me when I go anywhere near it.
Have you guys heard of the restaurant Lord of the Fries?
Yes, we have. Yeah, that's a staple of my diet, actually. I have.
Tim actually is the Lord of the Fries.
I love the concept behind it. It's a vegan restaurant, but they don't tell people that it's vegan.
No, exactly. And they have I never thought you could have so many different combinations of hot chips, but, they found a million.
What are some other restaurants in Melbourne? Have you heard of Leo's at all? Leo's or Orange?
Orange is a cafe that Dan and I used to... that's on the south side, so... can't really talk about it in front of these two, but yeah, it used to be the place to go. It might be still for losers. I'm not sure.
Oh my God! It's a great place. We recovered from many hangovers at Orange. It was right near Dan's house, and when we used to all years ago, I guess before we even had a band. Weekends would be out drinking. It was a regular thing, and our regular recovery was go down to Orange for coffee and breakfast.
What about Daddy Cool? Have you heard of them?
Yeah, we've heard of Daddy Cool. Yeah,
because Daddy Cool are not really punk rock, are they?
They're not really cool either.
But they did do a video, didn't they, for Eagle Rock in like a fish and chip shop in Melbourne? Have you been to that fish and chip shop?
I don't know whether I've seen that. Which store is it? Do you guys know?
There's a fish and chip shop that you can check it on YouTube. Eagle Rock is the song, so you can put Daddy Cool and Eagle Rock and see the fish and chip shop.
We actually played a show in a fish and chip seafood restaurant in Canberra once to about 4 people. So
it actually had the same name as a really cool venue in Canberra, but we got somehow accidentally booked for the wrong thing, so we played in the restaurant rather than the actual cool venue.
Did you taste any of the fish and chips at all?
There was I'm the only meat eater, but at the time there was just the 3 of us in the band, so it was like this massive pile of seafood, which I think I tried to eat, but...
That's amazing! Like, what a dream rider! A pile of seafood?
And I think the chef told us we suck.
That's true. It's like people yelling through orders, and he's like, "Yeah, and you guys suck."
How about the Primitive Calculators? Have you guys heard of them at all?
Yeah, they were a kind of, I guess, another kind of seminal kind of Melbourne band, and they kind of like reformed.
They're still playing. I actually saw them last year.
Yeah, they've been doing like a bunch of kind of shows. I think they're trying to reissue their catalogue or something. But yeah, I guess especially in Melbourne, there was such a scene around that time. People like Boys Next Door, Roland S. Howard, Birthday Party. The Saints were from Brisbane, I guess. But yeah, there's like a strong history of that music that made such an impact around the world. Even still now, Australia's starting to take notice of it. Like, they weren't even aware that it kind of existed at the time because it was so marginalised. So a lot of those bands moved to the UK, like bands like the Go-Betweens and stuff like that. But now, the Go-Betweens have a bridge named after them, and Roland S. Howard has a stage named after him at a festival in Australia. So it feels like, it's starting to get that scene starting to get some exposure finally.
Nick Cave, has Nick Cave seen you guys?
We did a festival. I think it was maybe in Ireland, and I was in the catering tent going up to get some food, and Nick Cave kind of came in He was like in the line right behind me, and he was complaining that there was no dessert there. And I said, well, there's some fruit there if you want some fruit. And he just totally ignored me. So
That was really helpful.
Yeah, it was. I think I actually saw him walking out of the Portaloo as well, you know, dressed immaculately in a suit, and it was just a strange sight.
But it's hard to meet Nick Cave. It's hard to talk to him. What's the deal on that? Like,
No, I actually, when we were rehearsing for the start of this tour, Grinderman were out in Australia doing a festival called Big Day Out, and we were rehearsing right next door to each other. And I came out, and I was sitting on the chair outside of the rehearsal space having a cigarette, and he came out, and he was also smoking, and he turned around and looked at me, and I had a tailored cigarette, and he goes, "Taylor's?" And I went, "Yeah." And then he just went, "Nice." And he was smoking rollies at the time, and that was all we said to each other.
Sadistic Execution. You ever heard of them?
I have heard of them. It's spelled with a K or something, isn't it? Instead of
They're like the #1 metal band in Australia.
K. Yeah. They could well be.
And I love the back of the CD. It says something. What does it say there?
We don't worship Satan. Satan worships us.
Ah, boom.
All right, these guys. Yeah, I'm gonna start.
They're my favourite metal band in Australia right now, I've got to say.
Well, thanks so much, Cut Copy. Anything else you want to add to the people out there at all?
just thank you.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Well, thanks so much, Cut Copy. Keep on rocking in the free world and do-do-do-do.
Do.
Way to go.
And cut.